Alright, we're back. We got ourselves some Holy Mountain Wither coconut porter. Looks like we got a 5.8 down under yonder. And this is my favorite brewery. Dope artwork as per usual. And let's get into this. I've already had about 5 beers, so we are gonna nightcap it with one of my favorite breweries porters. Oh, I love that shit. Holy Mountain just doesn't mess with me. They are basically masters of every style. I feel like they have to dump bad batches because I've never tasted like a bad Holy Mountain. They're just phenomenal. I don't know. There's no other way to describe it. So, they went light on the coconut on this one. I get the coconut, but it's not super heavy. Everything is very smooth. It's just above medium in body. It has good flavor. It's not hard to find. But it doesn't feel very heavy. It's not weighing you down. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fuck you up or anything like that. It's just easy drinking, but full of flavor. Cannot complain about that. Nice chocolate coconut experience. Nothing to complain about. Really good. Alright. Moving on. We are going with Excess by by Murphy and McNeil. This is part of their Infinitus series, which is their small batch releases. And of course I throw the lid right into my sink of water, but you could see the Infinitus symbol there. This one actually melted in the mail. So if you saw my mail call a couple videos back, this one actually was shifting as I rotated it. You could see the whole soap base shifting. I kind of got it as flat as I could with my finger and then let it cool down and harden back up. But I was super bummed because the Kodiak base, which is what this is, the Kodiak base in the back, you could see there, bare tallow base. I call the Kodiak base the collapsed veins base. And if you haven't seen a fresh puck of Kodiak soap, you'll see that there's like these cracks that go all throughout it, you know what I mean? And they literally look like collapsed veins. And I know it's funny and it might be offensive, but that's what it looks like to me. So jokingly, I say the Kodiak base is the collapsed veins base. But since it melted, you're not gonna see any of that on this one. Anyhow, since it melted and it may be damaged, I really doubt it, but it may be damaged, I am gonna do a face lather, and I really should get into it. So I got my bougie brush bath right here, made by Lancaster Razor Works. And then inside of that, I got my Lancaster Razor Works brush, which is one of my 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse brush. You could see the coin there, Lancaster Razor Works. And then this one is actually called Death. Death arrived on a pale horse, and it is described as a pale green horse. And so that is what I went with, black, pale green, and I have the tall, slender shape going on with flutes on the top and on the bottom. So very cool. Got the Lancaster V1 knot up there, and we are about to get into it. So I'm gonna try to load off this rough surface. If I were to believe in any of PAA's bullshit, then I would believe that the rough surface allows you to load easier. Oh my god. What a crock of shit. Any surface allows you to load easily. Soap isn't fucking hard as a rock. And if you have a damp brush and a soap on the other end of that damp brush, it's gonna load easy. Loading has never been a fucking rocket science. Alright? You have a wet brush, you have soap, which is not hard as a fucking rock. And even if it was triple milled, it's not as hard as a rock. It's just not that fucking hard. So, sorry if you're a PAA fanboy, but you're gonna hear non-PAA fanboy shit on this channel from time to time. I don't hate PAA. In fact, PAA makes really good products. But sometimes Doug says some shit that a non-fanboy just cannot subscribe to. Alright. So I'm assuming I have a good load here. Looks like there's a lot of shit incorporated in there. And since I suck at face lathering, I decided to attempt to load heavy. That looks like a badger hair. That's a rare occurrence, but I suppose it happens from time to time. I'm just gonna move this dry ass lather around, and then we will give this the old college try. So this is dry as shit, so I'm gonna dunk the tips in water and get to splaying. Now, normally I'm very familiar with the Kodiak base. I'm primarily a bowl latherer, so as you know, Kodiak is not hard whatsoever to bowl lather. It comes together really quickly, and it produces a very high grade, top notch lather, in my opinion. I'm going to add a little bit more water here. This Lancaster V1 knot is absolutely phenomenal. My favorite badger knot that I've ever experienced, and it is not some hand-tied, high-end, super expensive offering. It's affordable, and I've been shouting its praises for quite some time now. We're going to add some more water. I'm fairly positive I loaded heavy, but we still got to go through the steps regardless. Like I said, not a face latherer, so if I botch this or fuck this up, just because I don't have a shit ton of experience as of late. I do face lathers from time to time, but that doesn't mean that I'm like super good at them. I've done them in the past, and I try to do them from time to time just to stay up to date with them. And I don't like doing super long lathers because then it makes my videos super long as well, but kinda is what it is. I can see the lather coming together nicely now. I've attempted to add a good amount of water into it because it was very dense at the point where I started out at. So I'm painting, this is probably like my 5th application of painting water in. And the Kodiak base, the bare tallow base, really does take a lot of water. But I don't think, if you load with the appropriate amount, you don't need to go like gung-ho with it. You don't need to put a shit ton of water if you load the appropriate amount. But that does take some getting familiar to reach that level. I think we're gonna call it here. I think we got a fair amount of lather built up where we can safely say this should get the job done. I definitely feel like I could add more water, but I think this will get the job done. And I don't want to go on and on lathering, but I'm not a pro face latherer, so lathering for a long time is just gonna be like collateral damage. And to me, it definitely seems like I have dry lather mixed in with well hydrated lather, and I'm sure if I just kept working at it that it would all come together nicely, but the shave must go on, so this is where my lack of practice is gonna show its ugly head. No big deal though. Set my brush to the side. I'm going to try to salvage some of this usable good lather and just put it right back on top of the brush. And now we can actually get to shaving. So, like I was saying in the beginning, Excess, which is one of their small batch limited release soaps, this one is based on Paco Rabonne's XS, and so it's a cologne dupe, and it's a masculine woody accord. I quite like it. Never smelled this one in person, but it does smell really nice. I would have no problems picking this up and putting it in the rotation immediately. Absolutely no issues whatsoever with the Kodiak base. Even though I'm inexperienced with face lathering, it was coming together easily as I slowly but surely added more and more water into the equation. I'm using the Rex Supply Co. Envoy razor, which is their more affordable offering. Everybody seems to know the Rex Ambassador, which is their adjustable razor. The Envoy is a set blade gap and exposure, one setting, so to speak. But it has a slightly above medium efficiency and slightly above medium blade feel, or what I like to call entry-level blade feel, because I don't think it feels threatening whatsoever. It's actually quite approachable as far as blade feely safety razors go. It has some, but it's not like on the far end of the spectrum. And I think it provides a very comfortable shave. I absolutely love the good old Rex Envoy. A premium razor at an affordable price, in my opinion. I'm going to try to utilize a little bit of this lather that is trapped in the beard. Try to bring that back out to the forefront there. Same with down here. Utilize a little bit of that because I already know with my lack of experience that the brush probably doesn't have the best lather left over in it. That's just my own inexperience. I don't face lather enough to have a solid face lathering technique. I've done it in the past. I've gotten by with it in the past, but I've never I haven't continued on with it as I got further in my wet shaving journey. I just kind of left it in the past because I really enjoy bowl lathering. So I just kind of left it in the past. Looks like some of the lather scraped off in there. So I'm just gonna pick it back up, put it into the knot there, and then we'll get right back into lathering. So I would say, since my soap kind of melted in the male, lost its structural integrity, and I know a lot of people when they first see that, I know my buddy Brian from the Wet Shaving Experience had a similar experience recently, and he thought all was lost. But I'm here to tell you, I've had it happen multiple times. All is not lost. This shit happens from time to time. You're sitting in a hot mail truck, or sitting in a hot warehouse, or sitting in a hot mailbox waiting to be collected. Whatever the case may be, shit happens. Sometimes your soap melts in the mailbox. Might not be the same, but it'll still work for you. At least in my experience. This is about the third time I've had it happen to me. Might not be 100%. I've never dove deep in depth and compared a melted one to a non-melted one, same base, same variables. I've never compared them side by side, but you'll be alright, trust me. Your soap will still get the job done. It'll still retain its scent. And I'm guessing, as long as you don't leave it in there for a super extended period of time, no harm done. Alright. We are getting up there in minutes, and the shave isn't getting any prettier. I'm still going on very sloppy so let's pull this razor up and try to put this shave behind us. If we learned anything from this video, that I can ramble like a motherfucker, and lathering off camera in a bowl before I hit press play is a good thing. Because at the end of the day, this face lather isn't as impressive as what I would have made in a bowl. Although it got the job done. Definitely slick as a motherfucker, still working. Still smells great. Could have made a better lather in a bowl. There's just no two ways about it. I'm more familiar with bowl lathering, so I do better bowl lathers. Makes sense, don't it? And if you're more familiar face lathering, it only makes sense that you'd make better face lathers. I don't think you can say face lathering's better when you've never really used bowl lathering as your primary lathering method. I don't think that's fair. And if you say that sort of thing, you're disqualified. Cannot say that face lathering's better when you've never given bowl lathering a chance as your primary lathering method. Alright. So, that knocks out the shave. I'm going to try to rinse off real quick, get into the aftershave splash. We have went past my threshold, which is 20 minutes. I know I go past it often, but I don't like going past it. I used to lather on camera, and I used to go for an average of 25 minutes. And I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I like having a slightly shorter video. I do think it's easier to consume, even though I feel like if you like my shit, you'll watch my shit, but I understand that everybody has limited time and you got a lot of people you want to support, so I try to keep it shorter. Obviously today I failed, but it's a face lathering video. It's to be expected. So, let's get this off. Lancaster Razorworks towel. This was a damn fine shave. The scent on this one, although I kind of skipped over it, I have a nice buzz going, and I wasn't focused on proper YouTube video etiquette. But the scent on this one was pretty fantastic. It does smell a little bit mature. Something that maybe a 30s, 40s, 50s, you know what I mean, 30s and over gentleman might rock, instead of a person that's still in their 20s and younger. Which I'm 29, so I recognize it's a mature scent, but I could still appreciate it. I think it's a fantastic scent. Funny, outside of this, I've actually never heard of Paco Rabonne's XS. So that's pretty cool when wet shaving can introduce you to fragrances you've never even heard of. I'm going to finish this with the collaboration with Black Mountain Shaving and Murphy and McNeil, Pisgah, and we'll give this a nice shake. Of course, Murphy and McNeil has the best aftershave bottles in the entirety of the wet shaving world. Quality restrictor, and we'll just slather that right across the surface of our skin. Similar vibe with the masculine accord. This one here, though, is much more spicy, warm and spicy, but still masculine, slightly more mature. Wonderful scent. Alright, that will finally conclude this video. Sorry for the long video, guys. Shit happens. It is what it is. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.